Hi, and welcome to the third installment today of the Mike and Travis Sports podcast. My name is Travis.
And I'm Mike. This is the first time we've done 3 in one day. We're trying to get back on track with all of your big 4 Boston sports. Probably won't do the Bruins for a while just because...
Heartbreak is going.
Yes, we haven't gotten over it yet because we're butthurt fans. And we'll get to it eventually because there's not really anything to really talk about because no one watches the NHL draft. So we're here with the Celtics. So this is what, the 6th episode, I believe, now of our entire show.
Yeah, I believe
which
so.
is we're getting there. We're almost at 10, which maybe we'll do something for.
We've done half the shows today,
which is embarrassing. We need to do more. We need to write more, and we need to have more shows. So if you like the shows rather than the blogs, let us know, because I know there are a ton of people that read the blogs, and we haven't seen that much of an influx in the people that read or that watch the shows. And we'd like to see more of you guys.
Most likely because it only takes about 2 minutes to read a blog.
And 45 minutes. So
we're gonna make this quick.
We're gonna make this real quick because it's the Celtics, and there's really not much to talk about because, as most of you know, they were pretty bad last year.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, let's jump right into it.
All right. So with the Celtics, they got the 6th pick in the draft. Out of all the chances that we had to get the top 3, even number 1, we didn't get it.
You got the 6th. The Cavs.
The Cavs, who had probably maybe the 3rd least chance to do it, they got it.
Yep. Because the Cavs cheat. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
they do it.
I'm telling you, it's because that kid, that 10-year-old kid that they had out there, you know, autism or something.
I don't know. Something. I don't know. They win way too much, and it doesn't even make sense. For some reason, we got stuck with the 6th pick, though. So, whatever. We'll just roll with it, I guess. So, the 6th pick. Travis, quite honestly, what do you want to do with it? Draft it or trade it?
If Love is, well, let's do this. After the 3 players, Embiid, Wiggins, and Parker, it's really up in the air after that. So I don't see where we can really anchor on to one player. Usually at the 6th spot, you can't really anchor on a certain player. The only player that's been drafted 6 or around here that's really in the past couple of years that's really made a big impact on his team is Damian Lillard.
He got drafted 6th, actually.
Yep. So Damian Lillard is a point guard. There's been options that Dante Exum from Australia could be a possible pick.
So right now they're actually on, I think it's Draft World, that has them, the Celtics at number 6 picking Dante Exum. Travis doesn't really know much about him. Most people don't really know much about him. I've been watching a lot of random scouting videos for the NBA because I need the Celtics to be good and I need it now. So basically, he's a young kid from Australia. He doesn't play in college because it's Australia. He plays in the FIBA league. He played on the U19 team. They were pretty damn good, if you ask me. He has a lot of speed, a lot of great rebounding skills. He's pretty tall for a point guard. I believe 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah, he's huge. Which we don't really see that in a point guard since Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson and Michael Carter Williams from Hamilton, Mass.
Yep. So that's really all the times you see that, and that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. You never really know, especially with the international players. It's always pretty much a gamble because you don't see them playing against top competition all the time.
They really made, besides Dirk, the only one that's really made a huge impact on his team that's been drafted that didn't play college ball.
Manu.
Oh, Manu, yeah, Tony Parker.
Yeah, so the early 2000s, the late 90s, around that time, that was a good time to pick people from other countries. Now you really don't see people taking them in the first round of the draft, but late picks.
But you also see now that there's a lot of international players that do go decide to play college basketball, what's his name, Gorgie Jen. He played at Louisville. I think he was an international player. But they want to play the best competition, so some of them do go to college basketball if they have the opportunity to. Some of them don't. There's plenty of players that I believe that could probably look okay this year. There's really none besides Wiggins, Parker, and Embiid that I believe can have an immediate impact from the draft.
Yeah, because once you get past the top 3, you go to Noah Vonleh,
who I don't even understand why he's that high on the. They had some people had him 5th. Some people had Marcus Smart 4th. And don't get me wrong, Marcus Smart's a good player, but he's not 4th. No, I'm sorry. But you know what? Now looking at it, since it's up for grabs, after 3, you just pick for what position you need. And I think the Magic have the 4th pick, and they have a decent 3 and what's his name? They got drafted, Tobias Harris. And I don't know why they even shoot. They have Victor Oladipo. So I don't even know why they had them picking Marcus Smart. So.
I really have no idea. The only other player I would be really interested in them drafting would be Julius Randle, but only if they converted him to a 3, because I don't want him to play 4.
No, I don't think he's not big enough for me to play 4.
Well, he's still pretty big. It's
but I mean, like, as in, like, tall wise.
It's just
he's 6'8", but like he doesn't really play like a 4.
Yeah, it's just, and plus I would rather see Sullinger in there, just because I feel like he does have a big impact on this team,
really?
And I feel like he could be some part
The only
of our
thing
future.
that's really questionable with Julius Randle is shooting. That's it. He's good. He's a good player to get to the basket, close to the basket. But at 3, you kind of need somewhat range, and I don't see that in him.
Well, you've seen players in the past couple of years. I mean, at least the past 5-10 years that have come into the league and been more of a drive-first player, and then come back and improve on their shooting. I mean, you see like Iguodala is now like apparently a godly 3-point shooter, and even LeBron, who when he came into the league was a pretty good all-around player, but he was always drive first. He was never really shoot up, and now he's a spot-up shooter. And as you watched in
definitely helps his game a lot.
Game 2, he took over in the last quarter, so
definitely helps a lot. But even like Blake Griffin now, he developed his shot a little bit.
Yeah.
And he looks a lot better player. I think he finished 3rd in MVP this year.
You usually see a lot more players come into the league drive first, and then they expand to a shot type player who can do anything in any type of situation, which is definitely good. Definitely good in the triple threat NBA level. So then, basically, the next thing I wanted to touch on real quick, players to get. So that could be either free agency, through trade. I know Kevin Love's name has come up a lot.
That name has been floating around for a long time now.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask what you thought, if you think anybody is worth trading for or worth getting in free agency.
Kevin Love, definitely one of those players that we kind of really would like on our team. Number 1, he's a really good rebounder. It's something the Celtics were really lacking last year, is a player that can be able to crash the boards. Just score, shoot the 3 ball very well. Won a 3-point contest, I believe, 3 years ago. Looks like one of those players that can really make an impact on the Celtics immediately, because obviously he's a superstar of the NBA, top 5 power forward. He can shoot. We didn't have a spot-up shooter last year at all, I don't think. Jeff Green was our best shooter, but he's not really a spot-up shooter. Kevin Love can be a spot-up shooter, he can play the post, rebound very well. He had a couple 30 rebound games 2 years ago or something like that. That definitely would help the Celtics. That was one of our big struggles right there. We didn't have a consistent 3-point shooter. We also didn't have a consistent rebounder. I've also heard rumors about Carmelo signing with us in free agency. We don't pick up Nick. He doesn't accept the Knicks option. I think he has a club option. I think that he can accept. But as much as I don't like Carmelo as a player himself, or is it like kind of like maybe not just because he's played for the Knicks. So I don't know, but definitely top 5 player in the NBA in my opinion, Carmelo Anthony. So I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Celtics.
Definitely. It's one of those things where like you don't really, we even don't know who's going to be in the free agent class, which is hard because the season's technically still going on, even though we don't really want to watch it because I don't really like the Spurs, and I mean it's the Heat. Let's get real.
You see that the Heat fans flipped earlier than yesterday?
I did. It's for some reason people still call themselves Heat fans, which makes really no sense to me. Don't get me wrong, I respect LeBron James. I respect his game, like the way he plays. I can't wait till when it's all said and done for him to be called the best player of all time.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
It will.
I'd take Michael Jordan over him any day. Doesn't matter how many wins you're in. Michael Jordan's going to play.
I think by the end of it,
I'd take Bill Russell.
I think by the end of it, he's going to be the best player to ever play the game.
11 rings. I take 11 rings and will be the best player in the world.
You never know what will happen.
I do.
You
Nothing
do?
better than Jordan.
You do.
No, I already see the future. He's not better than Jordan.
But Kevin Love's definitely interesting. Kevin Love would be somebody I'd be really interested in, just for the simple fact that he is kind of that bigger body, and we don't really see a ton of big guys on our team. I mean, how tall is Kevin Love? Like
6'10",
6'10",
6'11".
6'11", yeah. He's huge, but he's also a shooter. So you look at like the size of our team. Sullinger's a power forward. He's what, 6'9",
Yeah.
and that 2 inches is actually a really big deal at the power forward spot, because if you look at players just around the league, there's a lot of them that aren't that tall, which is definitely helpful, and that's why Kevin Love has so much success with the Timberwolves. But he always said that he doesn't want to play with the same type of team that he plays with in Minnesota, which is a team that feeds him the ball and he's the only superstar. Which, if he comes here, I mean, you have Rondo, but that's like the same, even though it's a different level of point guard, it's like the same type, honestly, as Ricky Rubio, where they're all pass first instead of try to get your team to score. Don't get me wrong, I mean, Rondo likes to have his team score, but he doesn't really take the ball into his own hands and score himself at will as much as somebody
He
like...
saw like one game ever in his career, he dropped 44 against the Heat or something.
Yeah, as somebody like Chris Paul,
Yeah.
Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook, who are more of like a dynamic duo of score first almost, or score equal
look
as much as
look
pass.
for the basket first.
Yeah, which you don't really see. I mean, I love Rondo. I wish he would stay here, but you never really
I
know.
want Russell Westbrook on the team.
So that brings me into the next question: players we need to get rid of from the Celtics roster.
Gerald Wallace, number 1.
Gerald Wallace, the number 1, only simply because if he could stay on our team for cheap money, I would do it. The problem is Gerald Wallace makes a ridiculous amount of money, especially for what he provides for our team.
Yeah.
And that's very, 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 very little.
Yeah, so we really don't know what to do. I don't think nobody wants to trade for him anymore. I feel like kind of like the Nets just kind of threw him in there, so like
here's some money. Yeah, and that's really the only reason why that deal that we have them in the first place is because they needed to clear the cap space to bring in those 3, and we needed to take some of their cap space. So that's really the only reason why we have Joe Wallace. And since he doesn't add anything to the team, mostly because he was injured last year and he's kind of up there in age now, we just need to get rid of him somehow. Somebody needs to take him. I don't care what we get from him.
Well, excuse me, not the Bobcats, the Hornets.
The Hornets, again. I completely forgot about that until you just said that.
Yep, and it doesn't make any sense because that's not the same team. The Charlotte Hornets went to the New Orleans Hornets, now they're the Pelicans, and now the Bobcats have turned into the Charlotte Hornets. So that messes up the entire
the NBA makes no
NBA
sense
tree ever.
Basically. Other players I could think of us getting rid of. Anybody?
Brandon Bass. A lot of people do like Brandon Bass. Brandon Bass seems like that kind of player that you would want to keep on the Celtics, but
I think he's too short to play the power forward.
I don't think he fits in with this team anymore.
He's too short to play the power forward, and he's too big and can't ball handle well enough to be a 3. So he's kind of like a tweener, which is normally a word you use in football, but he has really no place in the NBA, quite honestly, in my opinion. We'll see what they do with him. I really kind of hope they trade him or do something to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Kind of sick of looking at him. Don't get me wrong.
I need new faces.
He has the sweetest stroke in the NBA.
He does.
But I can't
say. I need new faces on the Celtics team.
Agreed. And so basically, any big man I'd be willing to get in, and I'd be willing to get rid of those 2 primarily. And then the last one is players we must keep 100%. So the thing is, Rondo would be the top of my list, unless
we can get the trade for
we had a trade for another point guard.
Like Chris Paul.
The only reason I think this is because it makes sense schematically with the Celtics and the Thunder. Now, that's a long shot, the Celtics and the Thunder, to do a trade like this. But Rondo for Westbrook, hear me out. Listen to me. All right. Rondo, the Celtics need somebody to score if they get Kevin Love, especially. Someone who is able to drive to the basket or is able to shoot from the perimeter and just score. And he can pass also. Russell Westbrook fits into that scheme. The Thunder haven't won anything because they have too many people trying to steal shots from Kevin Durant, who is probably the second best player in the NBA.
And it's funny because they got rid of one of them, and now he's a superstar on another team.
Yes. So, which means they, I mean, tell me Rondo is not one of the best passers in the league, if not the best. He's top 5 point guard by far, and I don't see how those two teams don't try to work something out. I think it's actually been approached a few times, and everybody's
If
kind
Russell
of turned it
Westbrook ever
away.
came on the Celtics, I'd probably just cry because of
It's,
tears of joy.
Yeah.
I am the biggest Russell Westbrook supporter in the history of the NBA because I still feel like he still gives the Thunder some games better to win than KD does because I feel like he's a better fourth player than KD. That's just in my opinion. Russell Westbrook, if he was in a Celtics uniform and then Kevin Love signed with us, that would be one player that Kevin Love would love to play with, in my opinion. I think going back to you said somebody else that wants to take shots. Russell Westbrook, he's one of those players that you see that he takes the most ridiculous shots. Sometimes they go in, sometimes he completely misses. I believe on I think we were watching Game 6 where they lost, and he took that 3 when they were down by like 4 with like 35 seconds left, and there was only like 20 seconds on the shot clock left, and he airballed it.
awful.
Some plays Russell Westbrook does not think over, and even the play where he shot the 3 and got fouled, I think it was against the Clippers. Was it against the Clippers? I forget. I think it was a series before the Spurs. He shot a 3 and got a 4-point play, but like he took the stupidest 3 because it was like at the dumbest time you could possibly take 3.
Yeah, it's Russell Westbrook does not have the greatest basketball IQ. Let's stick with that.
I don't even think it's on his IQ. I just think he just doesn't want it. He just does it just because he can, and like he thinks he can make everything. It's not really his IQ. I think it's overconfidence in his game.
But that's definitely something that could work out. The only other player I could really see us needing to stick around to is I really, if you guys haven't been able to tell in our past Celtics talks or earlier in this blog, I have like a thing for Jared Sullinger
Like an
as a
actual
player.
sexual thing.
Not a sexual thing. Something basketball related for Jared Sullinger. I think he is able to put the team on his back. No back injury, pun intended. But he is able to do something that we haven't seen around here in a little while. I mean, a couple years since KG's been like really at KG form, where a power forward has been able to pretty much score whenever they really need to. And he's been one of the bigger players on our team, and I just don't see like Jeff Green being someone we need to keep because he takes some dumb shots and he'll score 40 one game and then he'll score like 6 the next.
Yeah, and I love Jeff Green to death, and I wish he could stay around for as long as possible, but he just doesn't. He's kind of a loose cannon cop that doesn't play by the rules. That's what he is. He's just like, yeah, I can drop 40 this game. Yeah, maybe I'll drop 6 next game. Yeah, maybe I'll drop 40 next game. Yeah.
It's just Sellinger can do so many things for the team. It's just he can score. He's a great rebounder, especially for his size. Like you see, like I said, he's 6'9". He's not that big, but he's a power forward. Like that's usually an like a small forward.
Yeah.
Height.
The only downside I think in Jared Sullinger is his height. I mean, not his height, and his durability. He's had back problems a lot, so that's one thing the Celtics kind of are going to look at and be like, yeah. But like again, when he's on, and he's a really good player. And you know, if he got drafted the year before he got drafted, he would have been a top 5 pick. So that he's top 5 talent, and he just kind of dropped off because he had the injury, didn't have that good of a second season with Ohio State. I hope that he can stay on the team and learns from. I just don't think that the Celtics have anybody on the team that can
don't
really
have a veteran presence that can teach anybody.
Yeah, like Kevin McHale, made Dwight Howard's post game 10 times better. There's really nobody on the team that they have that can really teach him. Like Tyrone Lue that we had on our coaching staff. He really helped out Rondo in a lot of points, experience wise. I don't think he's a coach. I think Doc took him with him to Clippers, but I really hope that Jared Sullinger can stay a consistent player and does not get hurt. I wish he could really show the NBA that he's real and he wants to do it. He's a tenacious rebounder. He really shows a good post presence. And I think him and Kevin Love on the same team would be a really good combination because he would learn a lot from Kevin Love. And maybe even help his shot. Sully can hit threes. We've seen it. It's always kind of like the poor man's kind of. Well, I can't really say poor man. He's still only been in the league, but he seems like a player that Kevin Love would be like. So I can see why the Celtics are kind of like maybe not flipping the switch on the Kevin Love deal yet. Just my opinion.
The only thing is with the Kevin Love thing, like who are they gonna accept on a trade? Quite honestly, you got to give them at least 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, they're really not going to want any of their players. Like I feel like they would want like maybe Bradley because they really don't have a shooting guard that can shoot, play defense. That's one of their big things is they don't play defense.
I don't even know who their shooting guard is. Is it Barea still?
It might be Bray or it might be what's his name? The other kid. What was his name? It's in the NBA.
Whatever.
Oh, Alexia something. Alexa Shaved. Alexi Shaved. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get real. Yeah, they need a small shooting guard, and I really think they need pretty much every position.
Yeah, I think besides Rick Rubio, they really need to start building a team. So.
Yeah, and I know they don't really want to get rid of Kevin Love, but it's more of Kevin Love doesn't want to be there, and he's not going to...
It's kind of like Kevin Love is KG right now.
Yep. Minnesota's going through it all over again. Minnesota provides for Boston more than the Bucks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers provide for the Patriots.
Like, and I'm surprised Greg Shannon's on our coaching staff yet.
Like if you look at Minnesota's past with Boston, you got Ortiz,
Kevin Garnett,
KG, possibly Kevin Love.
There's another player too. Someone else brought him up.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, yeah, there we go.
Who am I thinking? Randy Moss.
Well, technically he came from Oakland, but he did come from Minnesota. So second-handedly, Minnesota gave us our farm systems.
So basically, Minnesota and Tampa are farm systems.
And the A's are a retirement home for the Red Sox.
True. So basically, that's really all we had to say in the Celtics.
Yep,
that one seemed pretty short. I don't know how short it's actually going to be.
Probably going to be like 45 minutes.
We say that every time.
So this is where if you guys have any other players that you would like to see us talk about, we'd be glad to do it for a quick like 5-10 minute video too. I could do some researching if you think any other players are worthy of bringing into the Celtics. Any trade things. I like to hear different trade talk. I'm one of those people that likes to hear different trades. The NBA is always my favorite teams to talk about with trades because the NBA is more realistic with trades than football.
You don't really see many football trades, which is the thing that sucks. Yeah. And baseball ones are always minor leaguers, so you never know.
But like NBA trades and hockey trades are always my favorite ones to listen to. So
yeah, so like definitely what Travis said over here is that we definitely are looking for any support, any feedback that you guys have from our shows. If you like it, if you didn't like it, tell us why. Tell us why not. If you guys have any questions for the shows, any type of things you want us to talk about, definitely let us know through Twitter, through Facebook, through text, through Snapchat, through LinkedIn, through whatever you really want to get us on. We're here.
And once again, my Twitter handle is @JTAlden11. That's JTALDEN11.
And I'm @Masala_bro, MASALA_bro. We're on our phones pretty much constantly, even if we're at work.
Yeah, don't tell our bosses.
Yeah, don't
even though one of my bosses is my dad, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, don't tell our bosses. But we'll definitely be open to anything. We're really doing this for not only us, but
we want to have other conversations with people. Like as much as I like talking about it, I want to talk about it with other people besides him because me and him mostly share the same opinions. I want to see people else that have different opinions.
Yeah, and we're always looking for guests on the show. But other than today, we normally, if you guys haven't watched the show before, we normally put out a link before the show actually comes on.
But we're just in a groove right now, so we're just
we're going through everything. So we didn't really want anybody to have to give us any feedback before the shows or tell us who we wanted before the shows. But before each show from now on, that's what we will have. Hopefully we'll get more writing for you guys too. We're both, like we said earlier in one of the other videos, we're both off of school now. All we do is work, no matter what. And then we just got this. This is really it. And that's all we want to do. So, like we said, we have our Twitter handles, and then we have our Twitter handle for the show at Beantown Sports 5 on Twitter, and our Facebook page is Beantown Sports Blog, facebook.com/Beantown Sports Blog.
Yes.
And you can follow this show at youtube.com/Travis Alden or Slay Steezy.
Slay Steezy 23.
SLAY.
But if you search Travis Alden, most likely on YouTube, it would pop up.
Yes, but the name is SLAY STEE
ZY. Sorry.
23.
23.
Sorry,
I'm probably just gonna change that.
Yeah, eventually we'll switch over to a whole new channel and we'll have it on there for you guys. But for right now, that's really it.
All right.
Thank you very much for tuning in.
Much.
It's been a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
All right.
Thank you.
Peace out.